Most bookings in mobile bartending are one and done. But what if they didn't have to be? What if you can turn every great event into a repeat client? Or better yet, a client who sends more business your way. Welcome to Behind the Mobile Bar, the podcast for mobile bartenders and aspiring entrepreneurs. I'm Ryan, aka The Boozy Broker, and back when we ran our mobile bartending business, we handled over 300 events and brought over $500,000 in a year, all powered by the Happiest Ours Platform. Today's episode is all about how to turn leads into loyal customers. Where passion meets profit and every pour tells a story, welcome to Behind the Mobile Bar.
No clapping. Sorry.
I was about to clap.
Who are you?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Why are you impersonating
What are you talking about?
Ryan Morrissey?
Sorry, isn't there normally a hat and all this hair on that head?
No, nothing has changed.
Was the fedora attached to the locks?
Yeah, I had the fedora on for like 4 years.
You've been rocking this fake fedora locks for 4 years.
You know,
Yeah.
it's you had to change it up.
How?
You gotta change it up.
When? I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
So it was super funny when I like cut my hair. Like I did the thing where I put the hair back in my fedora. And I came home because my wife had no idea that I was doing it and what I was doing. I was taking my son to get a haircut, so she just thought, okay, that's cool. And then I showed up and I just kind of like took it off. And
That's normally
face,
something you like have a conversation about.
right? We're here.
Okay, well,
but
welcome.
what are we sipping on here? I'm excited. These drinks look so refreshing.
So I try not to make you guys super girly drinks all the time. But it feels like the first day of spring today. It's so hot. The sun is out. The birds are chirping. I just had to do something spritzy. So this is I tried coming up with a name because I suck at names. But I was calling this one the Elder Greyhound Spritz.
Elder Greyhound Spritz.
That's like
so
the
proud of
graveyard
myself.
you put the pasture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like you have to have a four-legged animal in every one of your drinks.
Oh, you're right.
Greyhound.
You are such an animal lover.
Cheers, I do. It's a love-hate relationship.
Cheers.
Okay, what do we have? We have Neft vodka,
Beautiful.
elderflower liqueur, grapefruit juice, a tiny bit of lime juice, and a rosemary simple syrup. And this is perfect because I'm hot and sweaty today.
Wow, this is really tasty.
Yeah, refreshing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot some Prosecco on top for the bubbles, of course.
There you go.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a
Prosecco.
spritz.
No, I said you use the Avisi for the prosecco.
We
So
use
it's a
Avisi
dry
for the
it's a
Prosecco.
dry prosecco, so it's not like a lot of people think when they think prosecco, it's like some sweet thing, which it can be, but like this one's a dry one. So it's
Yeah,
like
and it works out well
pairs very
because of the elderflower
Right.
and the simple.
This is
I'm glad
great.
you like it.
And it's brought to you with our favorite vodka,
Yep.
Neft.
Of
course.
Yeah, and Neft, if you guys don't know, it's not just a barrel. It's not a gimmick. It is actually really high quality vodka with 4 different winter ryes. They distill it the same way you do cognac in a French embolic pot. Distill 3 times. And then number one thing, guys, I don't think a lot of people realize this, is that for any spirit, any alcohol, your water matters.
No, but I love it, guys. Yeah, today it's, we've kind of like glossed over this throughout our episodes, but I figured I want to like double tap on this topic of like, right? We get leads, we get business, but how do you turn them into like just recurring situations, right? Like how do you turn them into like actual things that happen every single year? When I call recurring in our business, I call it at least once a year.
Right.
Right. And in my, because there's a
But every
birthday.
year.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah,
Right. Like,
yeah.
you're the thing. And I think the overarching situation, we'll go through a few things that like help like create this transition, right? From a one-time event to like a recurring event. But I think the overarching theme is that at the end of the day, when it comes to getting a lead somehow, some way, it's going to cost time or money for it, right? There's these pay-for-leads platforms like we talked about Thumbtack, we talked about the Knot, there's the Bash, there's Zolo, there's Bark, there's all these things that will kind of, you have to spend some type of money or time. Or if it's just time, that means that you're knocking on doors, you're telling people about your business, you're spending effort to do this. And
Trying
so
to grab those people at the bar, at your events.
100%. So
Past
you're
just serving them a drink.
right, 100%. So you're doing these things. You're spending energy and money to get this business to come in. You want to be in a position where you don't have to do that all the time.
Right.
right? And that's why it's all like, hey, the job isn't done when you. And I think a lot of people think like, yes, I got that booking, the money's in, and it's like, okay, I got to perform. Of course, I got to do that, but you want to, because of the nature of our business, you want to. What can I do to get them to want to do this again with me, right?
You're still working while you're working.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
You're on.
You have
100%.
Yeah, every
you
contact.
have to be on 100% of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
There can't be the, hey, I'm driving right now, so I can't deliver that excellent service. And I think that it would behoove any entrepreneur, right, when you're trying to get that repeat business, when you're trying to make an impact on your customer, to go ahead and put yourself in the best environment, right? Because whatever it takes, right? If you're distracted and you're running all over the place, right, and you're talking to your customer, right,
feel it,
like they're gonna be okay, like yeah, you were good, but like, if you could just sit in a quiet place. How's your day going? Right. What do you need? I can at least relieve the stress of the bar from you.
Right.
And that was always one of my favorite things is like just building that rapport with the customer.
Yeah.
Going past, okay, yeah, you're paying me. Don't get me wrong, you're paying me.
Yeah.
But also, like you're a human being, like I'm a human being.
Yeah.
How's your life?
Yeah.
How's your day?
Yeah.
What can I like? Is there anything else I can do to make your life a little bit easier? Or even if it's just if you can, right? If I can be that ear for you to vent.
Right.
That is nice.
And what you're talking about, and which is a core thing that just kind of the major thing that's going to be about this whole thing, turning these guys into repeat customers, it's just about relationships. It's just at the end of the day, it's a relationship because especially for us, it's a private event. It's a private thing that you're doing with somebody. And because of that, they want to be around people that they trust, that they feel like is cool, that they're going to add value, like all of these things. And so, like, again, I said earlier, that's like, right, if you're at a bar and there's so much traffic coming in and out, you can just crank out drinks.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have your regulars. The really good ones know how to, like, make people feel special with a short amount of time type of thing. And make them feel like they're family. And like, dude, he just made me a quick drink and I feel like I know the guy.
Yeah.
Like, those are special people. But, like, in particular for us, you got to see things as a relationship.
Yep.
And there is, in a relationship, you have to maintain a relationship. There's some people that are great at, the first impression, it's like, oh, he's a cool person. But you'll never see this person ever again.
Yeah.
Never hear from them again and stuff like that. It's like, how do you even maintain this relationship and whatever that we've built, in that short period of time? So,
or those people that have a great first impression and then now they're bartending for you and it's a whole different personality. It's not the same person that these clients had on the phone.
Right,
yeah.
right.
And they're kind of left like, ew.
it's a bait and switch in a way.
Right.
It's like a turnoff. Yeah.
100%. So,
it's a turnoff.
I think the first thing it comes down, we'll go into like a quick little order of like, just the process, right? And I think the first thing is first impressions, right? First impressions are...
They're key. That's what's going to sell you.
Yeah. It's I think this one of these episodes, I talked about something as simple as smiling. And I'm jumping the gun here, but like that's part of your first impression with people. It's just all like, yes, we all have that resting bitch face.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Guilty.
resting bartending face, the RBF, resting bartending face.
Well, and then, like in corporate world, they're always talking to you and training you about make sure you smile even when you're on the phone because people can hear
They hear it right through. Yeah. 1,000%.
Right. We had the mask on, you had to smize, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So it's those kind of things that's important. But like, from everything with the first impression, how you engage with them. Okay, when the lead came in, like, how are you? Are you excited? Do you sound excited over the phone? So that's a great point. Like, if you have to smile to like talk to this customer to make yourself sound more excited, then do that.
Yeah.
Right. So like, figure out the tips and tricks that's going to make you feel like every interaction I'm having with this person is such a positive one. You want the customer to ultimately say, I can't wait to get you in my house. How do you do that?
Right. That's my thing is, I like to have my customers feel like we family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'll get the customers on the phone, back in the day and, they're telling, they just start talking and they don't even realize, right. Like, oh, you've opened up.
Yeah.
Right.
And the minute I hear them like open up, like I really start cheesing because I'm like, oh yeah, like we coming back.
Yeah.
Right. Like we coming back. And now you can't even think of an event without me.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So,
You associate
Right.
these times. We all have those customers where it's all like, we associate this time with this person. Like, I can't see myself having this time without this person.
That's it.
You know, and you know, this is, I think this, just to like even get more granular, like there's 3 big words I think when it talks about the first impressions and before everything. You want to make the process smooth.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep things professional, but also make it personal.
Right.
And I know those last 2 can be kind of conflicting to some people.
Yeah.
And kind of hard. How do you do that?
Yeah.
But let's go through the smooth process, right? So it's okay. It's all about just doing that audit. I did an audit on myself.
Yeah.
Especially if you're starting off or whatever. If you're having a conversation with a customer and you look back at it, oh, I created conflict here, or I made this thing more difficult. Just check yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
There's gonna be times where it's like,
everything's
I could have did that a little bit better, or I could have made this easier for them. But just always have that thought process of how do I make this smoother for them? How do I make this process from when they give me a call to when they're about to pay me as smooth as possible?
Yeah.
Right? You do that, that's the first thing that they're gonna be like, that was pretty seamless.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big thing, right? So that's that there. Then you have the professionalism piece of it, right? Professionalism can mean different things to different people.
Yeah. It's
it's just how you see
not
it.
cursing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
when you're speaking to your client.
Right.
I know like it's funny because like some things you just assume, right? But you can't. You can't. So like not cursing.
That's a great one.
Right.
Yeah.
We drop F-bombs on here, guys, but we don't ever do that on the phone with clients.
Not with the client.
Then the first thing we say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You want my business?
Can you imagine? Lord, have mercy.
Even if you know that like the customer tells you, oh, you feel like family, I'm not doing it.
Still,
right?
no.
Because like at the end of the day, you want that customer to feel comfortable, and to feel comfortable referring you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And so what if there's a client who like never uses profanity and now because you dropped a few F-bombs because you feel like
you can do it there too.
Right.
Well, that's a no-no.
And then that's a no-no, right?
Right.
I also think the other one, right, is staying true to your word. Hey, I'm gonna send you this quote in an hour. Send it in the hour.
Yeah.
If
Or one
it's-
better. Send it in 45 minutes.
Send it in 45.
Under promise, over deliver. Right?
Always. Ryan is a huge proponent of that. Like, and so were my professors back in college, where never give the actual time it's going to take for you to do
Right.
it.
Double that.
Double
gosh.
it.
Yeah,
Double
double that.
it, triple it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to leave a better lasting impression.
Yeah.
That, man, he told me he was going to give me this and this, and he did it even earlier.
Right.
Man, he always comes through for me. And it starts with your promises. It starts with that quote
Right.
you were going to get to him.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, we've all been there. Dang, I forgot to get that quote out to that
Guilty.
client. We've been
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been there.
Right.
And if you're doing business right, you are going to get super busy where it's going to be hard for you to do that. But at the end of the day, right, like, Jay-Z, I was thinking of the Jay-Z line, but it's a little vulgar. But at the end of the day, to sum it up, right, it is more about, right, like all a person has is their word,
Right.
right? Like you can't take money with you, you can't, right, take your possessions with you, but your word.
Well, and there's a saying, you guys, I'm sure you know it. What is it about respect? It takes you a lifetime to earn respect, and you lose it in like...
Yeah, like you
it's
can lose it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
talking about,
It takes a
right?
lot of time
Yeah.
to earn it, and only only a moment to lose it.
There
Right.
you go.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the one piece that people forget, the famous saying, under promise, over deliver. It's the under promise side that people forget. Right? They'll say, so let's talk about the quote situation. They'll say, all right, I'm gonna get it to you tomorrow. But now you're rushing to get it. You're trying to over deliver
Right.
and you're rushing, but you're putting yourself in a very awkward position. You may have a million things to do.
Yeah.
You didn't really think through that. So it's just all like, make sure you do the under promising
Right.
part.
Well,
Make sure
if you're on the
say-
Happiest Hour platform, you can get that
Instantly.
estimate out
Yeah.
instantly. Thank you very much.
Like a
Which,
little
playing
selfish
on
plug.
that same note, before we move on, For anybody who has forgotten or is like, how do I make time to get all these estimates out? What I've done when I schedule clients for consultations is I always add myself an extra 10 minutes afterwards. So that now instead of just having a 15-minute consult done, I'm scheduling the next thing. I have 20 minutes. I'm on the phone for 15, and I force myself to sit there for those 5 minutes to go on happiesthours.com, get my little invoice estimate, and send it to the client. Done, gone. And
Build it in.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because you know you're going
love
to have
that.
follow-ups after your call,
Right.
no matter
Yeah.
what.
Right. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
So at
That's
least now,
that's so smart.
I took my 5 minutes, I sent it, it's out of my hair. For the moment, I'm hoping it comes back into my hair shortly after, so then now we can move on to step 2. But
Yeah.
for anybody out there,
Yeah.
that's been a lifesaver for me.
That's-
Because I forget all the time. I'll get it
that's-
to you by the end of the day.
Right. That's
And
so
then,
key.
yeah.
It's one of the things that my mother-in-law says, Annette, she says, don't put off something tomorrow that you can do today.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just all like, it's one of those things where you just like, just do it right now.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
it seems like, that's an extra thing to do.
What's
Just
5
do it.
minutes?
Because then
Yeah.
it's off your,
There you go.
You're not going to
It's
get
one less
anything
thing.
else done in 5 minutes anyways.
Right. So,
Right. You never know what tomorrow has.
yeah, and then to go into the professionalism side, how I can kind of define it, and I was just having a conversation with another bartending company, is show. It's almost saying like, oh, they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of like professionalism like means to me, like because professionalism in your craft, right? Like oh, this person knows what they're doing. So it can be like as you're having the conversation with this person, like the one specific example that I had, you're asking them like, okay, so how many guests are at your event? They're like, oh, they're gonna be 75. Well, okay. And then maybe you kind of throw out a number. How many hours? Okay, 4 hours. Okay, here's like a number. But then you maybe like, I don't know. Then you're asking questions. Well, like how many? Do you have any kids showing up? Like, you know what? They do. It's about 10 of them are have kids. Okay. Do you have like anybody that like older? They don't really drink as much. You know what? Actually, let's do this for 50 people because you're gonna have some non-drinkers. Maybe
Yeah.
they're drinking juices and mocktails and stuff like that. If they're gonna do that, let me know. But if they're not, we can do it for this. Those little things there, you don't know who you're talking to on the other end.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
we assume that they just know these things.
Yeah, but
But-
they appreciate that, so that doesn't
Yeah.
Right.
necessarily give off like, oh, they're just trying to get me for every penny.
Exactly.
Like, they care.
It's
Exactly.
more you're actually now they're feeling like you're taking care of them.
Right.
Right? So now you've kind of opened up a world. They're like, oh wow, this guy's just not trying to gouge me, like you said, right? So that's
And also think of like their mindset. You're talking to somebody who's planning an entire party.
right.
We as a bartending company, we are just one portion.
Yeah.
Right. And so it is very easy when you have all these things to manage, entertainment, right? Your DJ, your food vendor, your bartender, the venue. You have all these things that are that are swirling and dangling and juggling in your head. And so when you have a bartender, a company that comes to you and they're asking you deeper questions,
Right.
things that you never thought about.
Never thought
Yeah.
about.
Oh yeah, I trust you.
It's
Yeah.
Now you have
professional.
trust.
Yeah.
And
It's
kind of professional.
It's
at
very
this point. You're like,
professional.
oh, this person,
You've done
they're
this
an
before.
expert.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing I always give you credit for. All I needed was a couple of like Zoom calls with Vivian when, we're getting you booked for a wedding or whatever it is. And the questions that you ask throughout the process, I'm like, I didn't think about that. And they're for sure like didn't think about that, and I think the moment you do that, they're like, oh, great. Like even however they answer it in the back of their head, they're like, she knows what the fuck she's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's
Because if
huge.
my goal every call is to, in my speech, in my delivery of, hey, this is a thirsty horse, this is what we provide, I try to answer any questions ahead of time that I know they're going to have.
Right.
So I always start off
Right.
like, hey, let me just ask you a couple of boring logistical questions.
Yeah.
And then you'll see why. And just a quick, like, what type of venue, how many people, what time of the year, perfect. Now I know to ask those questions that they would never know.
Right.
And so,
Right.
hey, so this was my speech. Do you have any questions for me? Like, no, you literally answered everything and then some for me.
Right.
And now they're sold. And
Yeah,
that's why I always say I
yeah.
love to get people on the phone because I can sell somebody
Right.
on me, on my service,
Right.
quicker than, not quicker, but better than just, emailing or sending a text back.
Oh yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
100%. And like one other thing that like another tip as well that I feel like has always worked for us is that, okay, I'm big about, choose your hottest cocktails. Like, don't lean in with your hottest cocktails when you're telling your services. Talk about the ones that you know that just like crush at events, right? So you have your signature cocktail menu. You tell them about that. But then you also say, like, you know, if I'm going back to what we did, right? Obviously, we talk about passion fruit and margarita a lot. So I'm like, hey, like, we just did a number of events, and, you know, what was a hit at these events was our passion fruit margarita with all these fresh, you know, organic ingredients. Then we pair that with a very refreshing, like, vodka spritz, and then we add a old fashioned, you know, for your whiskey lovers, a classic old fashioned. But you know what? Also, what we do is we're going to bring backup stuff for you. We're going to bring, I understand that people don't want to always drink, like, there's a lot of stuff involved with these drinks. And, it, you know, even though they're good sugars, it's still sugars nonetheless.
Right.
So it's like, for any vodka drink, we're going to bring cranberry juice. For any tequila drink, we're going to bring pineapple juice. Whiskey drink, ginger ale, Coke. And we're going to always bring club sodas, because you know these people are just going to, they're going to want something simple.
Yeah.
Right.
And so by doing that, by saying that, not only they're like, oh my gosh, that's so, it's almost like you're telling something to somebody that they kind of wanted to hear, but they didn't know they wanted to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and when you say these things, it goes back to that professionalism.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of thing. So it's like, and you're making their lives easier, you know, and smooth. So that's big. And then the personal piece, we don't have to like talk too much about that, but just be who you are. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what makes you stand out. Again, going back to the private parties, private events, you got to, you know, don't be a robot.
Be genuine.
Be genuine.
Right.
Right.
And just let yourself shine. Right. Like, and don't be anyone but yourself.
But don't,
Right.
not fake shine.
Yeah.
Don't, oops, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm breaking stuff, sorry. Don't be fake you, because like I mentioned before, then if you show up to an event and you're this totally other RBF person, then they're done for. You're not going to be that same person.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. That's it. And
Do I need to
then
move
you
you?
have, and now first impressions, they kind of last not only, right, prior to the event, prior to the host booking you, but they also last during the event, right?
yeah.
And something what we talked about real quick is like the smiling piece.
Yeah.
Right? You have all these guests showing up. So now, okay, you the host likes you. They locked you in, they paid for your services, they like you. Right? Now it's like, okay, who's special to the host? Are they married? Maybe it's their uncle.
Right.
It's their uncle
Right.
that's like someone that's like to their heart, like, you know, it could be whoever, their grandma, like,
Oh yeah.
identify these people, you know, and then also like just be approachable. Like when you're at the bar, like be aware of it. That's it, going back to that resting bartending face, right?
Yeah.
It's just all like it's you're so locked in that you're not aware of your surroundings, that there's actual people here.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You know what I mean?
And you have to entertain them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like go
Yeah.
beyond just the like, hey, what margarita can I get you? Like, hey, how are you, margaritas? How do you know the birthday boy? Or how do you know the bride?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right side, groom
Oh
side.
my
Is it?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is nothing that kills me more than watching a bartender in action, and you make these great cocktails,
Right.
and all you're saying, "Oh, what do you want?"
Yeah.
Or well, what can I get you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, first and foremost, if you don't know what the host's favorite cocktail is and their significant other, shame on you.
Right. Right.
Like, I used to clock the host. So as they're walking around and moving around, I'd be like, oh, it's been like a couple of hours.
Right.
Right? I'm gonna quickly make them this cocktail. And then I'm just gonna hand it to them before they even ask.
Oh, dude, that's a key.
that's a good
Hold
one.
on.
Yeah.
Let's double down on that. Like, that is so key, because you know that we all have done where we go up to them and say, would you like something to drink?
Yeah.
Do one better and make them the drink that they have already picked, and just show up with it.
Yes.
That's it.
What's the worst case scenario? I'm good.
I'm good.
Give it to
Okay.
somebody else.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
You know, like, I just thought that you were looking a little thirsty, wanted to
Right.
make sure, or it's been a while.
Yeah.
Right?
80% of the time, they're going to
Yeah.
take the cocktail.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I
I
mean?
know.
It's
I
not
know
a
you're
bad
busy
thing.
Yeah.
walking around greeting your guests. Here's a drink.
Right.
That's it. Right.
Oh.
Like, I think that's
Good
such
tips.
a huge thing, you know. But going back to what Vivian was saying about taking your conversations a step further besides, oh, what do you like to drink? I love the
Make
question.
connections.
How do you know the host? Why are you here?
Right. Right.
You may actually find someone, right, and make some connection that you have no idea, right? Like, oh, actually, I know them through this event. Oh, really? That's crazy. We bartended. That's where I knew you from. I thought you had bartended, that other event. Yeah, I used to get that all the time. And I think like that's, and also like, I mean, you're a bartender. You talk to a lot of people. So like, you'd be surprised how versatile your knowledge is.
Yeah.
Right? And,
Right.
and even if you're not, become versatile in your knowledge. Because
or even if you're not, you just play the game. You
yeah,
don't know that
play
you
the
know what you're talking
game.
about.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a thermodynamic scientist.
What is
Great.
thermodynamics?
Tell me, what is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so-
what does a day in your life look like?
Yeah, I'll even dig in deeper with that. Staying on topic is, there's time and places where you want to ask open-ended questions, and then
Yes.
where you don't.
Yes.
If you're in discovery mode, and normally in discovery mode means you want to build a relationship, ask the open-ended questions, and then it benefits us as bartenders because you say, "How do you know the host?" Let them talk while you make the cocktail. You know what I mean?
100%.
Don't ask short questions or like yes or no questions.
Yeah.
And now you build an awkward thing, and now you got to make a cocktail.
And
they're just,
You know
like,
what I mean?
waiting.
Yeah, right. Okay. Like, yep.
Tapping their fingers.
Like, hey, do you like?
Yeah.
Do you like pizza? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Right.
But and being personable, I'm sorry, Ryan, I cut you
Yeah.
off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Being personable obviously helps you make connections too, but it goes past that. Like it'll help you through. How am I saying this? It'll just help you overall, good and bad. Because now, if you have a guest at the bar, I mean, we already know some people come up to the bar with just RBF. They're just not in a mood. Reaching out and just putting yourself out there, it helps break that tension. It helps break that ice.
1,000%.
Right.
A ton of times. And us folks, you folks who are big in the wedding industry, a lot of the times, bride and groom's dads and moms are the most tense.
Yes.
They're sad, but they're happy. They're stressed and they're broke.
Yeah.
Their emotions,
So much
are like,
emotions. So many
emotions are
emotions.
all over the place. So
Right.
More times that I can count, I've had, the father of the bride come up before service even starts, and they come up and they're rude. Honestly, they're very rude. They're very short and like, you need to serve me a drink now. I don't care if you're open. I paid for this. You're doing it now. So many times, and I can understand why people are going to say like, no, service didn't start. You're not my boss. Blah 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 blah. I have made it a point to like, hey, I'm Vivian. Nice to meet
Right.
you. Who are you? Oh, your dad. So I know, like, okay, dad's already up here.
This
Right.
explains.
Hey, Dad,
Right.
what a pleasure. It's such a beautiful
Yeah.
day. I
Right.
can imagine you're, have so much going on today. I'm just so stressed. I'm sorry. I can I bother you for a drink? Blah, blah. It already takes people from here to here, you just being yourself, you just being personable.
I love that.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Vivian. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Already there.
Right.
They're taking the breath and like, oh.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
You don't have to
just-
remember everybody's name, right?
Right.
And that's okay. I actually remember people by their order, right? And I'm like, oh, that's rum and coke guy.
Yeah.
That's margarita girl, right? Like, but introducing yourself makes you more personable.
Right.
It makes you more relatable.
Yeah.
Right? You're not just here to do a job, you are also a person.
Yeah.
And so now, like, you just taking this person who has this high anxiety, this high emotional stress, and you've grounded them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And I think
100%.
that's such an important thing. Yeah. And it's something as simple as, hi, my name is.
Right.
It's customer service, 100%.
Yeah.
That's it.
It
Customer
goes
service.
back down to the relationship. You're getting closer and closer and closer to make this person a repeat customer. If they're
Right.
ever thinking about doing anything like this again, they're going to think about you. And people always remember how you made them feel, not necessarily what you did.
No.
It's about how you made them feel, right?
Vivian tucked me off the ledge.
Yeah.
Just with a simple like, hey, Dad, take a deep breath. Sure, here's a
Right.
drink.
That's it.
And I feel like this is a good episode of just golden nuggets. You guys just dropped some really good nuggets here. Here's another one that it's funny how like sometimes we would just do this, but not really thinking like the benefits that it would provide. But I was talking to another bartending company like 2 days ago, and they were asking about more of like, man, how do I just get more private events? How do I do more and stuff like that? And I was just saw like,
over here,
you have to. I gave him I gave him a bunch of like different advice, but one of the ones that pertains to this topic is I said sometimes what you have to do is when you have an event, if it's appropriate, you may be the owner or whatever, and this can kill two birds with one stone. You get your bartender to bartend the event, and you just show up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yes.
man.
And you just be the person that's there to connect.
Yeah.
But you can kill two birds with one stone, because sometimes some of these owners, like, they get oh, I don't trust people to like represent my brand, and they're no one's going to be ever as good as you. No one's going to ever be as good as you. However, you can have certain standards, and you want things done a certain way. Hey, I want you to use the jigger every single time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's just how I get down.
Yeah.
Like, even though it may not make sense to you, this is what I want you to do. This is my bartending company. This is what I do. So, if you get an event, yes, it's going to cost you some time. This is the lead situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get your bartender to go there. You can now assess your bartender doing things and making sure they're doing things the way that you want it to do to represent your brand. But then you can also connect with people and give yourself the time to
and give your speech.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be awkward too.
Shake hands and kiss babies.
Right.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. And it doesn't have to be awkward. You can act as bar back here and there, like you're helping out, but then you can pull yourself out and you can connect. These are things that's going to really get people to know you in a private space where they want to know the person that they're dealing with. So a quick little tidbit. I know people wouldn't think about that, but we do that all the time.
No, well, and I was just going to add, it's also about choosing the right events, right? Hey, you know that this booking came in through a event planner.
Right.
That's a good event to go to.
Yeah.
Right? And because now you can strengthen that relationship so that for other future events, right? It may not make sense for you to go to, just
a private backyard, tiny
20 person, birthday party. Trust your bartenders, to go handle that.
Right.
But if it's a high value client, somebody who is booking more frequently, somebody who does lots of events.
Right.
And usually your host will tell you that.
Right. Yeah.
I do lots of events. If everything goes well, then this might be a bright future for us.
Right.
Event planners are not looking to find new bartenders every time.
Yeah.
They just want one person
that
they can trust.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And so 1,000% is choosing and making sure you have the right you choose the right party. And just like Ryan said, don't be scared to step away from the bar.
Yeah.
And then now you're really making value of your time in networking, you're prospecting, you're, building those relationships that you need to.
100%. And then another thing too is like a post-event energy. This was very interesting. I didn't really even think about this. There are sometimes, and I've seen this before, some bartenders, they're like, man, they got me for like an extra 2 hours. I'm dog tired. You make that last cocktail, they're out.
Yeah.
They're out.
It disappeared like Houdini.
Yeah.
Right. And some of these things may seem like natural to us, but like I never felt like I could do that. I always had to say bye to the host.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I couldn't just leave the space.
Yeah.
Like I always had to be all like, hey, just letting you know, like it's all clean, everything is good. Like, do you need anything else from me?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Right.
And let's level it up. Let's one up that. Like we got to the point where we'd leave them a little gift.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
We would leave them a little, like, especially with the Neff, they have little baby ones, little baby barrels. We put that in there. Yep. We put a little, like, I don't know, like let's call it like grapefruit soda or ginger beer, whatever. And then a little branded thing. And that does wonders. Yeah. Not only they're like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. Right. But it's also like, it's probably gonna be sitting on that table for a little bit. Yep. Now I'm like branding in your house.
They see it.
You know what I mean? And people are gonna see it. And you're gonna remember.
You're tying the whole everything together.
1,000%. And so I've seen people just like leave. And what lasting impression are you, especially when they're like, they're a little tipsy. You're just like, where did that person go? Like, it's gone. It's more so of like, make your presence felt. Just like, hey, just letting you know, like, would you just leave your mom's house like that? You know what I mean? Would you just bounce like your mom went to the bathroom and then you just left the house?
Out.
You know what I mean?
Depends on the conversation.
Yeah, right. But like, you know what I mean, right? It's all like you're gonna be like,
I didn't know where you were going with that because I always say goodbye and check out.
It's natural for certain people. It's natural. It doesn't seem like I have to talk about that and bring that up. but I feel like I have to because there's some people out there that it wouldn't click with them to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You should
You know what I
never
mean?
leave your event without touching base with your host.
Right.
Right.
100%.
Like, that's everything.
100%. So, no, I love it.
I like the gift idea. I'm going to start incorporating
A
that
little
myself.
baby gift. You know,
Yeah.
just a little time to let them remind them of the experience that they had.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You know what I mean? So, but then also it's all like now we're going like post event after, right? Like I mentioned, a relationship, part of the relationship, we talked about, you know, the first impression, the engagement immediately, like while you're there. Like let's say, you know, always talk about like dating, right? Like you first meet them, however, cool. You've impressed the other party enough to where they're like, I want to meet you in person or I want to spend time
Is that
with
how
you.
dating works? I'm sorry, I've been
Yeah,
doing it
right,
so
right.
long.
Yeah.
It's been a while for me
I
too.
remember.
That's how, yeah.
It's been a minute for me too. But once you're there, then it's like you're engaging, you're having conversation. Everything's great. I think that's where we're at. We talked about we're interested in each other. That's the sale. Boom. We close the sale. Now it's like I'm at the event. You crushed it. You're engaging. You're having the conversation. You're at dinner. This is good. You're at an event. You're making cocktails. But then you had such a great time, and then the date is done. You just never gonna like contact this person again. If you truly enjoyed your time,
Oh, yeah.
you enjoyed the person, you enjoy having conversation, having dinner with this person. In a date, would you ever just never contact them again?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course
Okay.
not.
You gotta think about these leads as relationships.
Yeah.
When the event
Yeah.
is over, it doesn't mean you stop contacting them. You have to follow up.
Should
You
be a
have
wrap
to
up text.
give them a
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
something.
Hey, hope you guys
some
had
love.
a great time.
Right.
Or if you build that automated into your system where your computer is just going to send in this handy dandy little
Right.
email.
Right.
You know, it was a pleasure being a part of your day. Hope everything was great.
And you would hope that you've learned a little something about somebody, either about the host themselves
Right.
or that person that matters to them. That's why the open-ended questions are important.
Yeah.
Walk away with one thing. That could be the thing that you text over,
That you chime
right?
in.
Like think about like, okay, the host is really like the uncle is like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my dude. And the uncle loves barbecue. He couldn't stop talking about his grill.
Right.
You know, he couldn't talk about
I mean,
the
barbecue's
barbecue
pretty damn
sauce,
good.
right? Like all that stuff, right? And the next thing you know it, you're at the restaurant and you're going down the aisle with all the barbecues and stuff or whatever it is. That should trigger you to be all like, let me text this host. Man, Uncle Roy, I just saw this barbecue sauce and I knew that Uncle Roy would love this. Here's a
Right.
quick little picture.
Yeah.
Like that
Oh,
is the
man.
things that you have to do
Right.
in order to build a
That's
relationship.
clutch. That's
right?
clutch.
So
Yeah.
these are all little things that, but if you don't capture this information while you're there, that's what CJ was really good at, of just all like maintaining
Asking
those
those
relationships,
questions,
asking
yeah.
those questions while I'm cranking out cocktails. CJ's on the side having a good conversation. Then he remembers all the things, and which is great. So then now it's
So
like
what
you
you're
can
saying
have
is
those
that you were
moments.
there working hard while CJ was just shooting the shit.
Hey,
Sounds about right.
punch.
I didn't make any cocktails.
1-2 punch.
I for sure didn't make any cocktails.
Right.
I was just chopping it
You
up.
were trying
Right.
to get out of having to make
Oh,
cocktails
yeah.
because if you recall, CJ didn't even know how to bartend.
Right.
Like
I
you
still
did.
don't know how to bartend.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. I can't make a cocktail.
Oh gosh.
But
But
I
I
can do is I can talk. You know, that's
That's
a
for
gift.
sure.
I could argue. That's tough. I could argue what's more important,
Yeah, you're right.
the
though.
cocktail or the connection.
Yeah, you're so right.
You
I-
hired
I-
me to make cocktails, so I understand that
Yeah,
that's important.
yeah.
I
but
tell
like,
people
you
all
know?
the time, it is the experience, just like you said,
Right.
because we've all been to places where the craft cocktail for $28 was the best drink you've ever had, but the bartender is kind of douchey.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So your
Oh, yeah.
experience sucks.
Right.
You go to a dive bar, the drink is terrible, but your bartender was talking and hanging with
killing
you
it.
and being just killer friendly the whole time. Which one did you like more? Which one's going to resonate more? The
Right.
shitty drink with a great bartender.
Right.
Every time. Look, we have a customer now. Shouts out to Natalie.
Hey.
You know, and she will always ask for me. And the reason is, and it kind of goes back to Ryan's point in like spending your time, right? So I remember we would go, we would have our bartender bartend her event for 3 hours. I would go with the bartender. And then I remember from the very first one, We went with our bartender, and it ended up just going extra hours,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, oh man, we were probably there an
It's
extra
like 3,
4
4
hours.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
That's a different
That's a
level.
whole other
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like legit, it was one of those things where like we were trying to pack up, and I remember this when we first got the van. The van wasn't even branded; it was just a black van,
Yeah.
and we just got the van, and I'm putting stuff into the van, and the host came out, and obviously she's a little tipsy, but also she just got deep, and so we just had me, our bartender, and the host just got crazy deep and was just talking about life. And so we were just there for an extra 4 hours, right? And then from that moment, right, and so I'm talking about like spend your time wisely. From that moment, she would book us 3 to 4 times a year.
Right.
Right. And so, and she was like, and here's the thing. So she fell in love with the bartender, which is great. But then that bartender left us. And so I was like, ooh. And so she was like, look, I don't care what bartender you send me, as long as you're coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I have this thing where I always say this is like the only event that I bartend, And again, guys, I'm not a bartender.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I make shitty drinks.
Yeah.
I will let
I'm
you know.
sure they're not.
She said, "I'll
They
pay you
are-
to kick it."
They are trash.
You want to get to that point.
She legit
I'll pay you to just
pays
kick it with me.
to kick it.
Right.
For the vibes. I'll never
Right.
forget, we did her birthday party. It was in January. And it's post-January. Right? So what does everybody do in January?
Yeah, not drinking.
Everybody
Not
stops drinking.
recovering from spending. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And so everybody at this party is just sitting there and like, and it's quiet, right? Like music's going, nobody dancing, nobody. People are barely talking to. I look around the room and people are all on their phone,
That's terrible.
and I'm like, yo, like this is Nat's like birthday party,
Yeah.
right? So I tell my bartender, I'm like, hey, you say right here if anybody needs a drink, you do that. I'm gonna go get my face painted. So she had a face painter
And
for the kids.
nobody was.
Nobody was using the face painter.
Good for you, bro.
So
I
like
remember
I
that
went,
too. Yeah.
I got my face painted. I look like
What'd you get? Was it a butterfly? Like
no, I look like a mix between Wakanda and Avatar. I called it Wakavatar.
Wakavatar.
I swear to God, I called it Wakavatar.
Wow.
And so and it was like glow in the dark too, and it was glow in the dark.
Oh, wow.
So it like the whole birthday party was rave themed. Right, and so it was like glow in the dark. I had like this headband. I had my little baby locks,
Do you guys
like-
not have that on video?
No, I got the video.
I
Actually, yeah. There you go.
Can we insert the clip
for
right
you,
here?
for you guys who don't
right
know?
here. We need to
B-roll,
insert-
please.
I
Like,
actually
Oh my
do
God.
have the video, and I know
Wow.
Alana has the video.
Well, hold
and-
on.
Wakavatar.
Wakavatar.
Yo, and it was, but like the minute I came out with my face painted, party started jumping.
Right.
Like
Right.
everybody started getting their
How
face
could you
painted.
not?
Everybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's what we mean is like, you as a person
Right.
can be a huge part to somebody's party.
Yeah.
And so like literally to this day, like there are certain clients where I know like right now, I know like Natalie hasn't booked yet. But I know,
she's
early
so-
June,
yeah,
early
some point.
June, like she already hit me up, right?
Right.
And so I know like for early June, will be her son's birthday parties, right? Like I have another Donna Stark, right? Like, sorry, I didn't even give your last name, Donna.
Don't worry, there's 1,000
Yeah,
Donna
there's a lot
Starks
of
out
those
there.
out
Yeah,
there. Yeah, Donna
Yeah.
Smarks.
Yeah, she's related to Tony Stark.
There
by
you
the way,
go.
guys.
She for sure.
she's
She
got
is
money.
a iron woman. No, legit.
Oh, she got money.
No, Donna is one of my favorites.
Fucking
Super
babe,
big
I love it.
sweetheart. And yeah, she will be like, hey, I'm having this. Is there any chance that you can just come?
Right.
Wow.
And like from day one, she was just like, hey, you know what? I really like you. And I just want what's best for you.
Right.
And you guys are gonna book. I'm gonna book you guys every year.
Yeah.
that.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter at the point. Now you got into the space where money doesn't matter. Like
That's
a
it.
lot of things don't matter, right? And again, I'll pay you to just kick it. Like,
Yeah.
And you just got to deliver on what you want to say. And you've now entered that space that, whatever I'm doing, I'm just going to do it with you when it comes to these types of things. And I wanted to, you know, kind of circle back to that like Uncle Roy example that I said. I want to add an extra layer to it. From an opportunistic standpoint, you can have those moments when it makes sense too. You can be a little bit smart with it. So you got the contact information of your client. And again, you know, that Uncle Roy loves his barbecue. You're going down the aisles and you're like, you take a picture. He's like, hey, is this the best barbecue sauce? I'm sure your Uncle Roy is using this one, right? You send that out. But when do you send that out? You send that out like 2-3 weeks before their birthday.
There you go.
2-3 weeks before Christmas.
Yes.
2-3 weeks before New Year's. Like whatever it is, you do stuff like that. That's the opportunistic piece where you send that out, doing that, and it triggers them. And then all you have to say, you can be very non-abrasive to it. When we all know the text message conversation when it's about to end or you need to like close it out. Yeah. You can just say something like, hey, if there's anything you need, I'm here for you. Like you don't need to be like, oh, I'm
pushy.
I'm a bartender. Book my bartending services. Salesman, just say, hey, if there's anything, they know what you do. You know what I mean? Just say, if you need anything, I'm here for you. And it's just a reminder of what you do. They know what you do. It's just reminding them because our business is about reminders.
Yeah.
Right.
People don't necessarily, you know, they have a birthday coming up. They may not even think. I'm one of the ones that I don't even think about my birthday. Yeah. Right. And so it's just all like, if someone hits me up before my birthday and says like, hey, Ryan, like, dude, just like checking in real quick. Remember I bartended your birthday last year and, you know, I just want to wish you a happy early birthday party. If you need anything, let me know. It may trigger me to be all like, oh, dude, we had an amazing time last year. Man, this guy got shit-faced and this was so fun, this and that. Why don't we do it again? Yeah, why don't we do it again? All right, let's do it. Like that's how some of these things may happen. So, you know, you can, it's kind of like full circle. And some of these things you can be kind of greedy and opportunistic a little bit with. It's still genuine because you're like, I do remember Uncle Roy. I do remember he likes barbecue. But when you send that stuff off, can be opportunistic, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Pretty cool, like little tip tricks there. And so, you know, here's another thing that I would say is that, you know, we'll kind of like talk about this as well. I didn't do too much of this, but I've heard of some bartending companies do it. And I'm very curious on who does and if it works or whatnot. But like loyalty, like type of loyalty deals. Situation deals.
And like, I think we have talked about that before.
Yeah, and it's like I know that like I know we've treated people like VIP and stuff like that, but there are some bartending companies that'll be like, hey, if you book me 5 times, your 6th one will be this, will be X. And because we all have those people that are loyal to us, and they will keep Natalie, right?
Natalie.
Like okay, cool. And I think sometimes we'll just naturally do something for them. We've given bottles to people. We've like little gifts,
spend
whatever.
Your time for free,
right? That's hey, I'll kick it. Like it's all good, you know. So we've done things naturally, but to like really cement it and say like, hey, Natalie, on your like 5th event, I'm gonna do this for you.
Let's go.
You know, and you can kind of, you know, you can say that. It's good to position that early.
Yeah.
Once you, so maybe not the first event, but if they book you again and you're feeling the vibes from this person, you can say like, hey, like, you know, hey, Natalie, like, I love these events. These are so fun. I just want to like put something out. You can even like, look, I just created this thing. I want to create it for you to where it's like, hey, for the 5th event, like I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to do it half off. I'm going to, whatever. Like, however you want to do it. You know, you can just let them know that. Let them know early in the process, and then you just remind them along the way, right? Like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Just remind them along the way.
Hey, remember, I'm doing this because
it's the same concept of you go to Yogurtland and they're just like stamping the thing like in your 10th
your
one.
AM PM free coffee.
Yeah.
Your 5th coffee's on us. Do you guys like gas station
You a real coffee drinker.
God.
If you going to AM PM,
for a person
there's nothing like gas station coffee.
There is nothing
coffee
like
is in the veins.
2-day-old AM PM coffee.
Right. No,
I wish I drank coffee.
I know, right. No, but good stuff, guys. I think there's so many golden nuggets, and I can't wait to spit out a few more. But before that, we're gonna go on a quick break. How's that? Let's do it. Boom.
I love where this conversation is going. This video is sponsored by Happiest Ours. We are a one-stop platform that's designed to help mobile bartenders succeed and grow in their businesses and make real-time connections effortless. Click the link in the description to book a demo today. Now grab a drink and let's get back to this podcast.
Okay, sweet. So, yeah, guys, the one thing I want to throw out there too, and we've kind of circled around this, but we just want to hit home with it. Like when you're at these events, you got a lead. We talked about this. You spent money or time to get this lead. You close the event. You did all these great things. You close it. You're at the event. Just remember that there's other opportunities as you're at that event. And you're at a private event. They're like either friends or they're related or they're somehow like connected. So if you do such a great job, and if you remember some of the things like Uncle Rob or whatever the situation is, you know, you can use that for booking another event with somebody else, right? CJ, you talked about Natalie, and how that came about was it's one of the first times that my wife had to bartend, like literally by herself with a bar back.
Was she like a professional bartender?
Definitely not a professional bartender. She was the professional receiver of the bartender. She liked the cocktails.
As any
part of
good
it.
wife should.
Right. But
Or partner, as any good partner should.
As a good partner should. Right. But we literally were that like busy, that jam-packed with so many events that it gets to the point where it's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. You're bartending.
You're bartending.
You know what I mean?
Bartender.
So it's like one of those, and she did such a great job with the cards that was dealt that she built a connection with somebody that connected, that booked another event for us. But then I came out there, did such a great job with that.
it.
And then
go,
now
Mary.
Natalie.
Wait, so she, not having bartended before, secured another gig at the gig?
Yes.
Yes.
Girl,
Yes.
yes, girl.
Yes.
She
When you
turned
say
the background
moms
just so
can
you
do
know,
it all.
girl.
Yeah, and that goes to show. Remember, I said I can argue the personality aspect could be more important. That's a clear example of how that now clearly she knew how to make the cocktails.
Right.
That she had to know how to make that, and we made it to where it's like anybody can kind of make it and like it's good. But however, still she handled her own. People just liked her and who she was, and so that led to another event, which led to we have a great relationship with Mary Fam, but which led to
last names.
No last name. My bad, Mary. But which led to another great relationship with Natalie, and CJ's maintained that relationship till this day. So it's like these are the spaces that you want to be in, and the conversation goes beyond just price and what you're going to offer. It goes to Mary had you here, this person had you here, I want you here. Right. Because you were such a vibe, and I remembered you at this event, like that kind of thing. So that's a big thing there. But the one thing I wanted to just bring up real quick is kind of the opposite, which I thought would be pretty interesting. Is like we've all had repeat customers, and they repeat, they're booking, and then sometimes they stop.
They do.
And then it just go away, and it's just like doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just all like, what happened?
Yeah.
Right? Like what did we do? What did sometimes you grow and then you put another bartender there and that person doesn't connect as
Right.
much. They really wanted you. That transition is tough. Growth is tough. Right? Like, I just got this is crazy. I got some great advice that, when you go to battle and you try to win, right? You're always going to get scarred. Right? Like if you go into a knife fight, right?
Wow.
And if you win the knife fight, you're going to still get cut.
Not the way I move.
Yeah. However you slice it.
Where are we in this hypothetical situation?
I'm just saying, like if
Bobbing
you're
and weaving, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Ultimately, to bring it
you're
back
right,
home,
you're right.
whatever winning means to you, there's going to be some pain throughout that
Right.
process.
Right.
Yes.
There's going to be some change. There's going to be
and
some
that's
things.
natural.
And that's just natural.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons why a customer may leave, because of you made a move that required some form of growth. And maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you didn't put the right person at that event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that person just didn't jive well or did something wrong or whatever it is. And, they're like, I'm going to explore my options.
Yep.
I know personally one thing for us is our pricing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just, we were doing so many events in the Inland Empire. And we were playing with our pricing a little bit more in a volatile, mindset or in a fashion because of what we're trying to build with Happiest Hours.
Right.
I just wanted to know how people would react with different pricings
Yeah.
and where things would go and how people would, those kind of things and the demographics and how that would change. So we were constantly changing our pricing. I know it's super annoying to CJ. It's like, it's almost like the stock market. He was just all like, well, what's the price today? What's Happiest Ours?
I remember seeing your guys' banner once. This is like before we were all family. I
Right.
remember seeing some special you had out for summer, and I
right.
was like, bro, stuff. Like, how are you surviving the summer giving this price?
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah.
Do you remember like other bartending companies like, how are you guys doing this?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah,
But-
right. We wanted to do that.
We had a
but
long-term play.
But I can see how those customers
Why
that
we
booked
lost
you that
them.
summer for almost nothing to the
Right.
next summer, like, well, what do you mean it's not
I want the same thing.
$95.99?
Like, well,
Yeah.
do you really think that I provided like $200 worth of service that day?
Right,
Yeah.
You know,
right.
or do you think it's worth more?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But at the end of the day, what was very interesting is that, we did double the events at 3-4x the price.
Yeah.
It was just in a different location with a different demographic. You know what I mean? So, that's the pricing thing. And I think we've talked about that as well. But like, there's certain things that you do have to just cut loose. And it's okay.
Yeah.
We can still be friends. We don't have to
Right.
do business
Right.
together.
But
we
your
can still
friends
be
don't
friends.
pay your bills.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
That's true too.
Know your worth.
Yeah, that's true too. So, but no, I love it. This is fantastic. I'm really excited to get to this question corner though.
Oh, we have so many good
I'm really
questions.
excited.
today.
It seems like we got a lot. Like,
Yeah, we're not going to do
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one because we couldn't decide.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of really good ones.
And thank you guys for sending in these questions. I know we don't get to it every week, but I'm so happy that you guys do. Stay engaged.
Right.
Keep sending the questions.
Right.
Those matter. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
That's it. That's it. We're a tight knit community, guys. So it's like it matters. We
Yeah.
want to make sure
And
that
they don't always have to be
you know.
super serious questions.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
next week maybe somebody will ask, like, Ryan, where's the hat? Just,
Yeah, right.
Where's
ask.
your hair?
Right.
just
Yeah.
ask.
Right. Where's
Okay, we're
In my
going
drawer.
serious, funny, logical,
All of the above.
all
Hit
of the
me.
above. Okay, here's a really good one from Angela's Cantina.
Ooh, what's up, Angie?
How to deal with a client. How do you deal with a client that doesn't pay or how to avoid it?
Wait.
Okay.
How do you deal with a client that doesn't pay?
doesn't pay for their event and how do you avoid it?
I got a real easy answer.
Right?
yeah.
Okay,
Use the
who's
Happiest
going
Ours
first?
platform. That shit would never happen to
Thank
you.
you.
No, just yeah,
Because why wouldn't it happen to you?
Because we do. It's automatic.
It's automated,
we got the
yeah.
card on file. We charge the card. You don't even have to have a conversation.
Thank you.
If they pay for your services, I'm assuming I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm assuming that someone's paid a deposit
Mm-hmm.
and now they're not trying to pay after the fact or something like that, or they're delaying it. You're like chasing money, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just don't put yourself in a position to do that by jumping on the platform, and it's not going to happen.
There you go.
You know
Okay,
what I mean? But
Perfect. Next question.
yeah, right.
No,
But realistically, without the
seriously.
platform, like,
Yeah. Realistically, do you want to take it? I can answer.
No, Vivian, I want to hear your answer because, like, you're actually in it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
in it. I never, I never do a gig without receiving full payment beforehand.
Smart.
Period.
just won't do it.
And easy when people will give pushback, like, well, I'm going to pay the caterer the same day, or the balloon lady's going to come set up her balloons and then pay me, or I'm not going to show up. I'm
Love it.
sorry.
Right.
Yeah. But typically, I shouldn't have said caterer because caterer always normally needs a head count 2 weeks before they collect because
Yep.
this is all food that will go bad.
Right.
So I usually try to tell them that. When do you give your caterer your final head count and payment? A week or two before.
Yeah.
We're
Same
caterers.
thing.
We collect the same thing. We
Right.
have stuff that'll go bad that you can't buy, whatnot. But I highly recommend to everybody, do not ever go to a gig without, or you know what? I shouldn't say do not go to it. Show up to the gig. You have a contract. You're supposed to do a job. If they haven't paid, you can be there and like, hey, we're here ready to set up. However,
Yeah, before I
we
actually
still
start.
haven't complete. We need to complete payment
Right.
before we actually start.
Right.
There's nothing worse than having to chase around drunk people to try to get money out of. Nobody knows who
Right.
has the money. Somebody no. Just save yourself the hassle. Put it in your contract.
Right.
Deposit retainer is due to lock down your dates. Final balance is due 1 to 2 weeks before your
Yeah.
event.
And look,
Period.
I'll also say, like, going back to relationships, sometimes we do have that relationship.
That's what I was going to keep
Right.
going with.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you feel good about this person, you know this person, you've done 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 events with this person. Their family member, whatever the situation is, to where you'll let something like that
There are exceptions.
slide. There's exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions, but you must, like, it's an exception. It's not a rule, right? And
yeah.
we'll leave it at that,
Yeah.
right? So it's all like, look, you do it one time for somebody, this and that, but don't make it a habit. And also just know who you're doing that for. And if you trust that person, cool. If you trusted that person and that person betrayed your trust, that's on you.
Then you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's on you at that point.
But also don't get completely scarred to where you won't ever do it again.
Right.
Because there are people who do
good people.
have good intention.
Yeah.
You know,
Be circumstance situation.
Right. There are a
Like-
lot of situations where, like, okay, you can understand. Hey, maybe they're collecting ticket fare and they're using that to go ahead and pay for your services. Now, I would say 99.9999999% of the time, you should, like Vivian said, collect your money up front,
Right.
and you should not be rendering your services
Right.
before collecting full payment. But if it is that case where you do decide, hey, I am going to step out on a limb, you know, that is almost one of those where it's like, don't lend people money if you expect to get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where, like, if you are doing something outside of your normal process and you are going out on a limb to render services before you get paid, and if they end up not paying, it is somewhat on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, but like, don't I'm gonna villainize this person.
Right.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
Just
you let
just
them-
follow
you
the
let
sword,
them-
take the bullet,
Yeah, exactly.
and move on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Move on.
here's the thing, people. You know, a lot of times you'll be like, oh my God, how am I gonna pay rent? How am I, like, I'm not gonna make it. You will find a way.
Right.
I promise you, you will find a way. It is not this deal that's
Right.
gonna end your world.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever happens, always be the better person. Do what a good person would do
Right.
at the end of the day, and just hope that it will come back around. But don't go down to their level. if you
Right.
don't have
Right.
to.
We've again going back to getting scars and
Yeah.
on your mission to winning. You're gonna take some L's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy.
You're gonna take some L's. That may be one of them. Somebody didn't pay you. You're gonna take an L.
Yeah,
like,
it
but
happens.
learn from it.
Yeah.
Learn from it.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too much. Learn from it. Move on.
Just don't put yourself in the position.
My exception ties into the episode is my one regular that's been there from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the beginning. And I've considered before, because from her, we've had maybe 3 to 4 events every year for the last 3 years. Not necessarily her personally, but in her bubble, in her
Right.
network.
Yep.
Right.
So I was starting to consider, like, hey, if she ever reaches out again, I should do an event for free. It actually came to, like, hey, I want to book you, but I don't have the money yet. Like,
Don't worry
got
about
I
it.
got you in the calendar. Pay me whenever.
You're locked in.
Final balance whenever. Like, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. But
Right.
that's been my one exception. And oddly enough, she reached out today.
Oh wow.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, she reached out actually last night, and we spoke last night, and we're doing an event in June. And just we'll figure it out. Yeah,
Love
but
it.
that is my one exception, and I will hold that to her for
The
a while.
real ones who stay with you.
Yeah,
They deserve it.
we've done weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, college graduations.
You've seen the evolution
We
of
know
life.
the whole, literally, yeah. We know the entire
The 1-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now he's turning 21.
I've been in business for that long.
So now he got his first job or whatever.
The whole thing. This next question, actually, I think is a really good question for the platform. And you guys will know what I mean. This is from B3 Forever, sharing
I know who that
bartenders. Is that ever an issue? How do you guys feel about it?
Sharing
Oh.
bartenders.
Sharing bartenders.
I love
So
it.
if I reach out to, one and only, hey,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
do you have anybody I can use? Or if, one and only reaches out to me,
yeah.
hey, I need help. Your person's willing to help. How do you feel about that?
You guys want me? I got a really strong feeling about this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do it.
100%. And it may be against popular opinion, but again, I keep going. The top 4 problems that most mobile bartenders go through is getting leads, closing leads, pricing, and people, right? Fulfilling the people aspect, trusting people, getting people when you have too many events, those kind of things. And what's been very special about the community that's been there, that we're building and all this
Our
stuff,
platform community.
is the platform community where people are utilizing each other and helping each other out for events. And it comes to the mindset of, the community over competition and all that good stuff, where it's like, it's not even a question. Like, some people may think like, well, I don't want this bartending company to be at my event. They're going to try to steal my client, whatever. But that's not even a thought process. Actually, it's quite the opposite. I would actually prefer, because this bartending company that has like their own company, they have ownership, they're going to show up in a different way.
Yeah.
They're still, I always use a term like, this is the team jersey that I'm wearing, but Morrissey is the name on the jersey. So I'm always representing myself, no matter whose team I'm on.
Right.
So with that being said, if I'm doing an event for you, I want to make sure that it's one of the best experiences ever, versus it being a transactional, I'm just here to get paid and I'm going to make some cocktails. Like, I'm still me wherever I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to have a good impression on everybody. And I feel like working with other bartending owners and people that are starting their own thing and all that stuff, you're going to get a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
When they show up for you wearing your jersey that day. Because then it's also like a scratch my back, I scratch your back type of league.
Right.
So at some point you may wear my jersey.
Yeah.
And you're going to be the same way.
down to
And
wear
you're going to
other
remember.
people's jerseys
right.
anytime.
And so I feel like it's a beautiful thing, an absolutely beautiful thing of just here, make it happen. Go crush. We're never here to stop opportunities. We all get it. There may be a time where Vivian has 10 events in one day and I don't have nothing. Am I just going to sit around the house? If Vivian can use some help, I can make a little bit of money on the side. I enjoy doing this. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And I think the incentive is always tips, right? And we know that you don't get tips for giving shitty service.
Yeah.
So if you can find a trusted bartender from a community that you're already working within, and humble brag to ourselves, right, is that it's not like we just provide the platform. We also try to provide community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And
I'm glad you're touching on that, because I was going to say something about it.
There you go. Right. And so it's different when you're like, hey, I've only seen these bartenders on Instagram, so I don't know if I can trust them to do what they need to do.
Right.
But when you can say, oh yeah, I went to Napa with them, and I have a better understanding of who they are as a person.
Right.
Or hey, I went to a Libation Nation event.
Right.
Follow us at on
Libation Nation?
Instagram, Libation _Nation _bartenders. But those things matter, right? Because it's a community that you've now built a relationship, and now you know the person, so you know what type of standard that they're going to hold themselves to. I think where bartenders can get in trouble when using other bartenders, if it's just a random person.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing I would say for the bartender who needs the bartender, right? The bartending company who needs a bartender.
Right.
Make sure you set your bartenders up for success.
Yeah.
Right.
That's huge.
You're talking about someone who is now coming into your world, who does things completely different. Every bartending company, it's so funny. Bartending is one of those things where everyone does it a little bit different.
Right.
No one does it the same.
Right.
Right. And so, even down to, does the bartender need to bring tools? Does the bartender need to bring cups?
Right.
You need to take a step back as the bartending company. If you're using another bartender from another bartending company, you need to take a step back and just make sure that bartender is set up for success. The number of times that I've heard oh yeah, it was cool, I had to make cocktails, but they didn't have all the ingredients.
Right.
Right. Because people do things differently.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So just be mindful of that as the bartending company. But if it's somebody that I know, that I can trust, you carry the same standard that I carry. also like come check out Taste of Happiest Hours. Because that's also like another way for bartenders to connect with each other
Yeah.
and also see what everyone's vibe is, right? Oh, that's a vibe that I get with. That's not really my vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
But, you know, speaking on that, I think you guys, Happiest Hours, has done a really good job with picking and choosing. I don't want to say the same type of people, but I feel like most of us bartenders that are on the platform work very similar.
Yeah.
Have similar personalities.
Yeah.
like
you care.
mentioned. Yeah, everybody
You
cares.
take it seriously and you care. Yeah.
And bottom line, all these bartenders on your platform are representing Happiest Hours. So you guys are really good at picking the right type of people to represent everybody.
Yeah.
And
No,
work similarly. Am I saying
Yeah.
that right? I don't know.
No,
The
yeah.
spritz is getting to me.
Right,
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. No, we appreciate that. And even to go back to what CJ was saying by setting them up for success, I literally just had the conversation today. Like, even to go more granular into that, like, do the thing for them. Like, you need to make it so simple for them to where they're literally just showing up and being a bartender. Like, if you want the best case scenario to happen, I know there's some bartending companies out there that says, oh, my bartender comes to my house to pick up this, and they go to the event, and they do all these things. Do not do that to some other bartending.
No.
Don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, you are just asking for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if they don't show up on time or whatever? Like, they didn't know how your bar worked and like
Traffic
all this stuff,
or-
traffic, like, your tools, like
Traffic.
all this stuff. Like, you literally need to set them up for success. Build the bar for them. Drop the stuff for them. It's almost like coming into PF Chang's and working. Like, let them just come in, set up their station and work and bartend, and then let them clean their station and go home.
Yeah.
Because they don't know your process. They don't know how to build your bar. They don't know how to do these things. Do it for them. And then you're going to have the highest chance of like a good event happening, even though you don't know that person. And then just another quick little plug is that we are creating a feature really soon called Staff Up, which is going to be really dope to where people can go on there and just instantly book any individual bartender if you need them. And now you'll know their availability and all that good stuff. So it's coming soon. That's going to be fun and very interesting.
Bartenders
So-
on the platform, put your schedules in.
Yeah.
Because the money's coming.
Yeah. Right. And you just pick who you want type of thing.
Now, are these like a whole set of different bartenders or bartenders within all of our businesses already?
So obviously we'll grow and we'll bring on more. There'll be others, but it's more so for the bartenders that are down.
Like if my girls all like, hey, I don't have any gigs booked for next month. Let me open myself up.
Right.
Yes.
If they're down to like, and here's the other thing too. So what's very interesting about this whole thing, bartenders work for other bartenders. I know that there's a thing of like, let's say you're girls, right? And if you just open them up to the world where anybody can book them, it's just all like, well, when your events come up,
No, I don't have any girls.
Now you don't
I need
have
boys. I always say I don't have any boys. Boys, if anybody's interested,
hey, there you go.
shoot me a message for
Right.
work, okay?
Yeah, that
Right.
message was going real left.
Right.
For work. I
Right.
need some boy bartenders, some gentlemen. Okay, yeah, that was the
But-
thought in my mind. Like, well, what if someone else is booking my bartenders to work like 8 months out, and now my wedding season comes and
Yeah.
my girls are busy.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think the best thing is just communication.
Yeah.
Like anything else. You'll have some bartenders like, yo, these are my core solid ones. Right. And, if you truly need somebody, like, and it's not to say like you have power over them. It's just more so of like, let me know.
yeah.
And your bartender knows that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Viv is my girl. Like,
Yeah.
this is what and who I do it for. Cool. You guys have that relationship to where it's all like, if somebody really needs them, then you can probably like turn this person on and then they can be available.
Yeah.
And now you're aware of that. And even if it happens to where they book them like 3-4 months down the line, which normally doesn't happen that way. It's normally the last
At the last minute, we're
It's
like,
the last
do you
minute
have
ones.
anybody? Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
normally will work itself out. But then there's going to be people where it's just all like, look, they're just out there. They're mercenaries. They're just out there, and you just pick on, and they're great at that role.
Yeah.
They can just do this, and you're okay with them. You use them sometimes. Other people use them sometimes. So, like, I think there'll be layers of it. Is how we're going to kind of design it. So,
Just giving opportunities.
Right.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
bring it on. Bring it on.
One more.
favor.
We have a couple of really good ones, but I feel like it's going to be a whole episode answering.
Ooh.
So let's go with something fun. Let's go with something fun. CJ with the facts. Have you ever seen any drama go down while bartending an event? Oh, and this is from CRA.VYN. Craven.
Oh, Craven.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad I gave this one to you
My
then.
girl Craven.
She would ask for the drama.
She
Would
would.
Yeah.
Craven wants all the tea. Oh my
Dude, I mean, who
god.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Any drama at an event?
I have.
no.
I have
I'm
one.
trying to think,
Yeah.
right?
I have a
Like,
couple.
dude, yeah, this one's kind of on the spot. Oh man. You know, all my events are usually
They've been
pretty
two fairies,
happy.
and you know,
No,
like,
I think I can think of one. We have talking about repeat customers. We have this one client, and he throws a bunch of parties, right? And so it wasn't like crazy drama, but it was just funny to like watch. In that, so he was throwing a party, and then he charged folks for food, right?
Okay.
For the party. So you had like your drink tickets, you had your food tickets. But the thing is that he didn't tell people when he brought the food that you had to get a food ticket,
Yeah.
right?
that's a little
So,
confusing.
It was a little confusing, right? But and it was one of those events. You know how people are always like, "Hey, it'd be great if you have a bar over here and a bar over here and a bar over there," right? And people, I normally like will guide people towards not doing that because you have to split up your
everything.
your everything,
Right.
and you just hope. And there's always going to be one bar that's slower than the other.
Right,
So in
right,
this case,
No matter what.
we did it, made the client happy. We split it up. So one of our bars was in front, like near the food, and so I was like floating, and I just so happened to be at the bar when they dropped off all the food, and I'm gonna say within 20 minutes, all the food's gone.
The vultures.
All the food, like
vultures
people
came.
saw food, and it was like eat.
Yeah.
Because people assume like free food. Yeah.
Which is natural.
Yeah.
Which is natural. If you don't tell people, they're just
Right.
gonna think it's part of the party.
right.
So I see the people eat the food in 20 minutes. I'm not thinking anything of it. But then like it's LA. So like nobody shows up on time.
Yeah.
Right? So like
'Cause they're all stuck in traffic
Because they're
for
all
3
stuck in
hours.
traffic. You know, they've been getting
Speaking from
ready.
experience from
trying to
yesterday.
trying to look Hollywood ready.
Right.
And oh my God, it was like hilarious and sad at the same time.
Right.
If you saw these people's faces, because like they would come in and they're like, "Oh, I had a food ticket. Do you know where I can grab my food?" And I'm
Think
like,
about that.
No, you know what I said? I said you have a ticket. You don't have
"Got the
food.
food."
Oh shoot! Because they had paid ahead of time.
And so that's when
Yeah,
that's when I
that's a
really
problem.
started feeling
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I really started feeling bad when when I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I know you paid for this, but there isn't any more food."
Yeah.
Right?
I'll give you a shot.
Yeah, right. And like I'm like, I can get you a drink,
Right, right.
but like it's not and that ended up being like a huge thing because like I said, people didn't show up for an hour. So it went
so-
from like
jokes.
okay, like first it was like, okay, one person said something. Two person said something, and then it was like 50.
Yeah.
because it was like one of those like 300-400 people parties.
Yeah.
and
that's awkward for
And how do
you
you
because it's like they think you're involved with the food
but
Yeah.
because
I had
you're
something-
you're a part of the service aspect of it, and it's just
Food,
all
what
like
food?
Yeah. That one was rough.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's yeah,
But like that wasn't like drama. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, any drama?
I would have just said it, y'all. It's a liquid diet.
Good.
Hey,
Always seeing the glass.
Half
What is
full.
it? Half full,
Yeah, yeah.
Ryan. You're
If
the best
somebody
at that.
doesn't have liquid diet as a bartending company name,
Oh,
that might be a good one.
that's a genius.
That's
thing.
liquid
I haven't
diet.
seen that.
I haven't
name.
seen that yet.
Yeah.
Quick,
Yeah.
Okay.
quick, Alana, reserve that
Yeah, yeah.
page right now.
Right, the
Reserve that
liquid
handle.
Sell
diet.
it to someone.
Right, right.
Drama, any drama?
Drama. I can't. To be fair, I don't remember a lot of stuff. Like it's You know, it's
That's what happens when you just live
Ryan's
day
a
by day.
visionary. He looks forward,
I
not
always
backwards.
look forward. I'm
Yeah.
barely in the present, but
Drama? What drama?
Yeah, no,
Are you
I
like
know
that
that
meme
we've
where
had
what is it,
drama.
the dog that's like walking through and there's like fires and
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
like blowing around him. And he's
Everything's
like,
okay.
everything's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everything's fine.
We're good. We're good. Like, it's not that bad. Did we die? Did we die? Like, you know what I mean?
I
But
know.
no, I'm sure there is, arguments and stuff like that going on. And I know that we had like, I think
Yeah.
we talked about some stories of like some
Yeah.
bartenders getting drunk and this and
Yeah.
that. Like, so our own little drama
own
at
drama.
events kind of thing. But like dramas at that person's like, there's got to be some, but like I guess I'm so immune to
You
it.
can't, you can't
Yeah,
remember.
you know what I mean?
I had a couple good ones. I guess one kind of sad one.
Oh, hit me.
I
I can use a good cry.
This was a no, it's cringe. Whatever. Groom took one of the bridesmaids into the bathroom, and they weren't
That's
helping
drama.
each other. Yeah.
On
And what do you do?
wedding
Oh,
day.
I mean, like obviously we can't say nothing. Like I don't see nothing.
Wait,
But
no, the actual groom.
the actual
the
groom
actual
that
groom.
had just married his beloved wife a couple hours before
No.
takes out.
Told me he was so drunk he just thought she looked like his wife.
You know what? There was a lot more than just drinking going on in the background.
Right.
But they were adjusting a lot after they left the bathroom. Isn't that terrible? Who does that?
Did the wife find out?
That I do not know the drama
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is not a full
yeah.
circle drama,
Yeah.
but yeah, as a
And what
as
were
a girl watching
what were
this all
their
go
initials?
down. Shut up.
Right.
No last names, CJ. No last names. Isn't that terrible? We see so much.
See, yeah, because like, that's what I'm saying. Like you deal with,
So bad.
yeah, gosh,
Yeah, right.
That's
Should we
pretty-
end it with that end scene?
Yeah,
Good night, everybody.
yeah,
We'll see you next week.
yeah.
No, there's that one, and then there was a father of the groom who hadn't had a drop of alcohol for 20, 30 years. Used to be an alcoholic, and decides the day of the wedding he's gonna relapse and chug a lot of alcohol. Assaulted me.
That's not good.
Assaulted a couple other venue people, and then he. This all happened in a blink of an eye. He yanks a bottle of vodka out of my bartender's hands, swings it to crack the son, the groom,
What?
in the head. Yeah,
Connects?
literally. Doesn't connect.
Thank God.
Thank God the groom happened to turn and saw it coming, managed
Holy
to duck.
snaps.
We pulled it out of the dad's hands, and this dad was 6'4",
Oh, big guy.
and a good 4. He was morbidly obese, a good 400 pounds.
Was
guy
this the same wedding?
Massive.
Fucking drama wedding.
No, but
Yeah.
actually, at the groom and bridesmaids' wedding, one of the super, super old grandpas fell, cracked his head on the sidewalk, and the ambulance had to come. Yeah, that was a drama wedding. Yeah, that was a drama
Goodness
wedding.
gracious.
Nothing says wedding like the ambulance showing up.
No, shoot. And then, you're partying good. But yeah, we see a lot, guys.
Wow.
We can't say a lot, but we
Right.
see a lot.
Yeah,
Right,
I know.
right.
I'm still like trying to
So if you
think
see
of
us like shaking
drama.
drinks, connecting eyes over there, we're like,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
doing one of these.
There are for sure times, right? Like you're making cocktails and like you see stuff. But like
Just
we're-
right here,
also,
right here.
Like we're guys, right? So
Right.
it's like if my name is Bennett and I ain't in it.
Yeah, that's so
If it
true
ain't got
though.
nothing
I'm
to
like,
do with me.
I actually look away. I'm like,
That's why you don't remember. That's why you don't got no
I'm
stories.
just so like,
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys that leans in. Like I'm one of
But
those
you know
like,
what? You ask
"Oh,
the
there's some
girl
shit
this
going on
question,
over
she's
there."
gonna bring out her little scroll.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Right.
On this
but like
day.
Right.
women notice just more stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like you
They
notice
100%
way more stuff
aware.
than we
like,
do. Like I
like-
spend so much of my I'm so like locked in. I couldn't even I don't know what everybody else
No,
is doing.
sometimes I'll notice it. I'll just act like I'm not
Yeah,
noticing it.
yeah.
I don't want that. Looks like a problem. Like I
Yeah.
don't want.
I don't wanna be-
to be
I
even
don't wanna
close
be-
to it.
I don't
like
know.
I
Problem.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
would leave if you didn't hire me to do this thing. Like I would walk away. I actually walk in the other direction. Like I'm not one of those like in the movies like, oh, let's go in the dark alley. Like no, I'm like nope. going this way.
That's
you
too
know?
funny. Yeah, we
Yeah.
see a lot, guys. If you're doing crazy
That's a
stuff
good
or
one.
something that's wrong, just don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
wild.
We have a ton of other questions,
Yeah.
but for the sake of not keeping you guys all on for 2 hours, we're going to save some of these for the next couple episodes.
I love
love
these
it.
questions.
I
Yeah,
love
these
it,
are great
guys.
questions, guys. Keep it
No,
up.
this is great, guys. You know, it's circling back, like this episode, we dropped so many good nuggets, but the biggest thing about our business, and I can't like overemphasize this, you gotta try to create repeat customers. You have
Build
to.
those
That's what
relationships.
makes your business sustainable.
Right.
And then when new ones come in, you've built habits in converting them into repeat customers. Be aware of what you're doing. If you know that you created some form of friction, it didn't go too well, that's okay, right? You're going to get your scars as you figure it out, but be aware of it, learn your lessons, switch it up next time. But figure out a way to make them repeat so you can keep growing, you can keep adding more. You've built systems and processes in place to where now you actually have a business, right? You don't really have a business if it's like a one-shot approach, right?
Yeah.
So very key in our business in particular because we celebrate life's moments and all that good stuff. And those moments, they come around not as frequently as like, other things that are recurring, but got to make them repeat. So if you guys enjoy this episode, please stay tuned. We got some really cool stuff coming up. We're going to go deeper into the industry. We're going to go into adjacent industries. And like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Good night.
All right.
Thank you, guys.